Welcome to the Bettendorf Public Library's Take-Home Workshop. Today, we're making these baskets out of paper strips. I know they look like wood, but that's actually paper. Let's see what's in our kit. In your kit, you will find a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbooking paper. So it's kind of a cardstock, a heavier paper. And we got two-sided paper so that the inside of your basket will also look nice. It won't just be a plain white. So 12 by 12 and a glue stick. What we're asking you to provide is a way of cutting this paper into strips. So you can use a ruler and a pencil and a pair of scissors where you measure each strip and then cut. You can use a cutting mat, a straight blade, or a ruler, however you can work it out, whatever works for you. I'll be using a straight blade and the ruler on my cutting mat, which makes it very easy. But if you needed to, you could just measure each section out, draw a line, and cut the strips that way. The first thing we're going to do, in fact, is cut this into strips. We need 3 1-inch strips and 6 7/8 inch strips. So I'm just going to line it up with my cutting mat here, and I'm going to get all my strips cut using a ruler and a straight edge. That's 3 1-inch strips and 6 7/8 inch strips. Now look at your designs and decide what you want to be the inside and what you want to be the outside of the basket. I'm going to use this for my outside. And so as I lay things out, I have to be aware of that. If you want to mix it up, you go right ahead, but I'm going to have everything on the outside. So I'm going to take my 3 1-inch strips, I'm going to circle around, and then I'm going to glue them. I'm going to have an overlap of about 1/4 inch. And then I'm just going to hold that till it dries enough to stay on its own. If you want to grab a paper clip or something like that to put that in place so you don't have to hold it, that's probably actually not a bad idea. I'm just going to pinch it till it's dry enough to hold on its own. And you're going to get a ring like that, and I'm going to set that aside and do the same with these two. So we have our 3 rings done and glued, and we're going to set those aside for now. We're going to start with our 7/8 inch strips, and we're going to take 2 of those and we're going to mark them at the halfway point, just using our pencil. So 6 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just put, and I'm going to do it on the inside. I almost forgot that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to put a pencil mark there. It's kind of hard for you guys to see. I'm going to make it as dark as I can. And I'm going to use that to line these up so that they are centered and square. So I'm going to lay one down. I'm going to put a dot of glue right over that center mark. And then I'm going to lay the other one down so that the center marks crisscross. And I want, as much as possible, these to be at 90 degrees to each other. So we want that to be a right angle. And once we get these first 2 lined up right, the rest will just fall into place. Okay, now I'm going to take another strip, and again, I'm working from the inside. So I'm looking at the inside of it. This is our bottom strip right now, and this is our top strip. So now we want to go over the top. And we're just going to line up right next to it. So this strip here is going to go over and then under. And I'm going to do the same thing, just a little dot of glue, and then I'm going to line them up. You want to make sure your ends line up so that when your basket is all done, the tops are all even with each other. I'm going to do the same thing here. A little dot of glue. Put it on there and line it up. Now, the glue is not 100% necessary for this, but I find it so much easier to hold things into place as you're getting this going. Now we have 2 more strips, and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to weave them here. So this one, this piece went over this center section, so this one needs to go under. And again, I'm going to take that up. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right there in the center. And then the same thing on this side, where you're always kind of maintaining that over, under, over pattern. And you're making sure that your ends are lined up and things are snug together and they're straight. Okay, now I'm going to take a piece of my cardstock and I'm just going to lay it in here. I'm going to line it up. Then I'm going to take these pieces and I'm just going to bend them up. And I'm using this extra piece so that my folds here are all along a straight line. Just going to lay them down, and we want them to fold up and line up with themselves, basically. See how they line up here? That up a little bit. See how they line up here too? I want that all to be as straight as possible. Then I'm going to put them back. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and I'm going to do the same thing again. Just fold them down over this scrap piece and making sure that these ends line up. Okay, so this is the bottom of our basket, and we have these pieces that are going to come up and make the sides. Now I'm going to take this and set it aside for just one moment, and I'm going back to our rings because now these are well and dry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and I want to make sure I'm going to fold it in half twice, once this way to give us the corners of our basket. But I want to make sure that the seam doesn't hit a corner. So if this is my seam right here, I'm going to put it kind of there and then fold. So I'm just having them go flat, and that's my seam right there. So when I do the same thing on the other side, and I'm going to have my folds line up with each other and flatten it out again. That's going to make sure my seam is not at a corner, because if the seam's at a corner, it's going to put more stress on it. It might come apart. It's going to be more obvious. We want that to be not obvious. So we're going to end up with a little square like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 rings that I made. So I have my 3 squares, and I have the bottom of my basket. So the strips that are coming from underneath the bottom, I'm going to fold those up. So there's a center one there and a center one there, and then the side ones on these sides. So it's always every other strip. So I'm folding up the ones that came from underneath the basket. I'm going to take one of my rings, and I'm just going to slide it down over the top, just like that. And then I'm folding these back up and folding these down. So the ones that come up from the outside, we're folding to the inside, and the ones that were inside, we're folding to the outside. We want to keep our folds as precise as we can. We want to keep things as square as possible. Okay. so now again, we've got some center strips heading out, some side strips heading in, and we're going to take our next ring and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take these ones that are folded in, I'm going to stand them up again a little bit, and we're going to put a ring over them and just give them a pull. And then we're going to do the same thing. So you see it was on the outside before, now it's on the inside of this next ring. I'm snugging up the corner there, and I'm also going to fold that down again. And sometimes it helps to work across the basket. So instead of going around in a circle, you do one and then you go across and you go do what needs to be done. And that kind of holds things into place, and then you can go back in and do the other ones, knowing that things are lined up properly. So whatever pattern works for you, so that you can keep things organized, you can keep things square. Okay, so it's going to look like this from the side. So you can start to see how it's coming together. Now we're going to take our third ring and we're going to do the same thing one more time. We've got our some going in, some going out, and the ones going in are going to come up inside the basket. One's going out. They're gonna come up outside that top strip, and then we're just folding them down again, just like that. So if you're having problems keeping your pattern straight, keep in mind that it's every other strip goes the same direction. So this one is coming up on the outside of this top ring, so we're skipping the center one, and this one is coming up outside the top ring. The other thing to keep in mind is that going across the basket, it's the same. So if this one came up on the outside, the one opposite is also coming up on the outside. Okay, so now on this top ring, I'm not going to fold these ones out over because we're going to trim those. Make sure that all my outer ones are done. Okay, so I pulled this guy up, all right, and I folded him over. Now I'm going to trim him just a little bit, and I'm going to put glue on the back side of the tip there. Don't be shy. And then as I'm going to follow my fold line, and I'm just going to fold it over, and basically it glues it down. I'm going to go across, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trim just a little bit. Now what I'm doing as I'm doing these is I'm pulling on these strips. I want to make sure that everything is put together nice and snug. I'm giving that a little tug and pulling down, and it's making sure that these corners stay sharp. I'm going to go across that one to the other end of that same strip. And make sure that they are snug. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the ones that are kind of the same direction. All the ones that came up on the outside of this top ring, I'm doing those first, and then I'll go back and do the inner ones. And if you do it this way, where you're kind of here and then here and then here and here, instead of working your way around on this last layer, it helps you make sure that things are going to stay square the way you want them to. Okay, so my outer strips, the ones that are on the outside of this top ring, those are all trimmed and glued down. Now we're going to do the same thing with the ones that came up from the inside. And this time we're going to trim them just shy of the top edge. So you know where the top edge is. You can mark it with a pencil. You can give it a little fold, whatever works best for you. And you're just going to get in there and trim it off just below that. And then you're going to glue inside the top ring of the basket. Pull that nice and snug and just glue it on the inside there. So it's just glued right there on the inside. And again, I'm popping over to the opposite side now. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm pulling it nice and snug. I'm going to give it a little fold so I can see where it hits the top of my basket. And then I'm going to trim it right just barely underneath that. A generous helping of glue. And squeeze it down. Same thing on the other side. And there you have your basket. And I love it, love it, love it with this wood paper. Now, scrapbook paper comes in thousands of designs and patterns and colors, so you could do anything to match your decor. If you wanted to, you could take a strip of your, what's left of your paper, and you could put a handle on your basket if you wanted to. I like mine without. I use them for, it could be a candy dish. I use them for pens or pencils or other things. I never seem to have enough little containers to hold little things and keep my desk looking tidy. So there's your basket. We want to see your baskets as we always do. So share those with us on social media. And we want to thank the Bettendorf Public Library Foundation and Quad City Bank and Trust for sponsoring this take-home workshop.